We are 22us Radio. 22us Radio is 22usmedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now a World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 188 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk, a special WrestleMania Beyond the Ropes, if you will. Of course, you can find me on social media on Twitter at EthanM959. You can follow James at
JHW Reporter.
And producer Rob Flores at
Rob Flores Media. And don't forget the R2 DMs for Ethan.
Might be some interesting plans for R-Truth this weekend coming up. But yes,
Like
it is.
what?
Oh, I don't know. I think they might have something. We'll get into it.
Are you being sarcastic or no?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not actually. But no,
I'm not believing you. Sorry.
Okay, we'll discuss it. Of course, this is WrestleMania Beyond the Ropes because, of course, WWE is naming everything WrestleMania now, including WrestleMania Raw, which we'll talk about. We'll talk about the actual WrestleMania event next week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, but some big news coming out of the last week.
That Brock Lesnar is having a baby.
Is that happening?
That's what he said
When did he say that?
on Raw, or excuse me, WrestleMania Raw.
I
said-
don't remember that. In the
He
promo.
said he was going to have
Oh, well,
baby, or he said he was going to marry Roman Reigns, or they were going to get a divorce, and the titles were going to get.
he was gonna. Yes,
He was going to get So he said he was going to get custody of
of the title.
the title once they unite.
No, something that's actually happening. And
That is actually happening.
no, it's not.
Wait, why would it not?
Because he didn't win.
You don't think he's going to win?
No.
Who do you think is going to win?
The one true head of the table, tribal
Brock-
chief, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Wrong. Incorrect.
But we'll talk more about the title later. But I just wanted to break that news to you.
That's not happening. So nothing to break here. Triple H.
Oh, yeah.
Officially retired from in-ring competition. Announced it on ESPN. And
During an interview with Stephen A. Smith. Mm-hmm.
favorite interviewer.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he basically was a quick, like a 7 to 10 minute interview, relatively short.
Wait, was it? But the one, did they show that interview on actual ESPN? Because I know it was like supposed to be on Stephen A. Smith's show.
Right, it was on his show.
Okay, but I know they broke it like early in the morning. The news was broken like way early in the morning.
It was his show.
Okay, I just thought there was a longer interview than what
As far as I know, I didn't see.
it
one.
might have been. I just
It was
assumed that
like
he had like a whole 30-minute spot or something with Stephen A. But maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so because I know he introduced him, did the the segment, and then he moved away from that conversation. So
Okay.
I think it was just that, but I could be wrong. Anyways, basically they got into the whole situation that happened this past August where Triple H suffered a cardiac event where it was publicly announced via WWE that he had to undergo surgery and everything. And that's kind of when he stepped away obviously from the company. NXT changed and everything, and we know that story. But no, basically stated, he had to have surgery. He was basically he said he was on the 1 yard line from death, pretty much. He wasn't gonna make it. And
Yeah. Sounds like they I guess what they found it on time. The widow something.
the
I think he called it.
It was a widowmaker portion of the heart, I think it's called.
But how did they say they found it? What did he say? Like how
Had
they came about it
pneumonia.
again?
He got pneumonia.
He had pneumonia. Yeah.
And then I think Stephanie, he stated that Stephanie was noticing that he was coughing up blood or something. So
Mm.
then, after the pneumonia diagnosis, I guess his doctor called him and told him to pack a bag and go to the emergency room right away, which he
Mhm.
did. And it's a good thing he did when he did, because, like I said, he was basically, if he waited any longer, he would not be around today. He underwent surgery. He talked about the emotional aspect of the situation of not being around for his family and his children. He got, pretty emotional there. Basically said his heart was finding other ways to pump blood,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is crazy. Um, but yeah, no, he had surgery. It was successful. His family has a history with heart problems.
Mhm.
His grandfather died, I believe, or great grandfather. His dad had a triple bypass, I think he's stated, and
Mhm.
his grandfather also had issues. So, um, history with heart problems is not okay. You definitely need to get checked out. He apparently stated he had no issues before then, um, other than a slightly enlarged heart, which apparently a lot of athletes do get. But stated
For the, it's not. I don't even think it's something that they necessarily get, but
it,
it's
yeah,
something. I think it's something that becomes like discovered
yeah,
just through it. Like my brother kind of went through something similar. Not, I don't know if exactly an enlarged heart, but like, oh, you have a heart murmur or something. Like,
yeah.
you're going through your normal physicals or normal things, and then all of a sudden, like, there's an episode or there's something that happens that, one thing leads to another. In this case, like it did with Triple H, and boom, it becomes much more than what you think it is.
Mhm.
And the thing that stood out to me was, and I think too that one of the things that I know Triple H got kind of choked up about, and you kind of mentioned it there with his family, was when he would get put under or whenever he was going into the surgery, not knowing if he was going to wake up or if
Mhm.
this was it. You know what I mean? And like, we hear a lot about wrestlers dying at younger ages and different things like that, and for different reasons. Some because of abuse, accidents, every other thing. But this, when when I woke up or whatever, started my day and kind of looked at Twitter and saw some of the stuff about Triple H, I'm like, what's going on? And remember, this is 2, 3, 4 days removed from his one of his better friends in the industry, Scott Hall, passing away. And you start hearing um Triple H share his story, and I don't know if a lot of it kind of stems or came about as a result of COVID. I think that's kind of where a lot of it may have came into play too, was or maybe just the uncertainty of with everything going on with all things medical at that time. But I think that again, it's just one of those things where you're lucky that we're all lucky, but more specifically, obviously, Triple H is lucky that things worked out the way that they did and that they found it. Like he said, you're on the 1 yard line. I mean, that's about as close as it gets to being on the other side of making that a good or a bad situation. So obviously everyone shared their not congratulations, but their feelings and their respect and whatnot towards Triple H. Obviously, again, I think what stood out to me when I heard about it was, you know, for whatever it's worth, like just hearing at the time, oh, this was a standard procedure. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I've never heard of such thing of like this is a standard heart procedure. Because remember, that's what they were kind of calling it at the time, like as if oh, he was due for like one of these for like it was in the works for a number of years or something. Like
Mhm.
it just made it sound like it was common. And now to hear you're on the 1 yard line doesn't sound like something pretty standard. Um, now, unless there's something I missed from Triple H's comments, we'll just have to see how things play out for him kind of going forward, and what health precautions or what what his medical, what the future may look like for him health wise kind of going forward, and again how that may impact what he's doing in the wrestling industry, and whether or not he is ever going to get back into a full-time control managing role of any sort backstage, or um or at least for what it sounds like in the meantime, just kind of taking a back seat and spending as much time as you can with your family and just being thankful and appreciative of what you have, while we're all still here on this earth. So we'll see. But yeah, obviously big to hear Triple H talk about his situation and obviously for him to come out on the positive side of things. And hopefully, he's around and contributing to the wrestling industry or just being a good family man for the rest of his life. That's all we can ask for.
His career started March 24th, 1992. Officially announced his retirement March 25th, 2022. So he had
Did you say it started?
March 24th, 1992.
Wow. So one day.
30-year career, technically as a name ring performer. His last match technically was, I believe, a house show in Japan. A tag team match where he teamed with Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Robert Roode and I want to say another NXT.
I thought it was something about Randall Keith Orton, or maybe that was his last televised match.
That was the last televised match at Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. So technically, Randy Orton was his last televised match, but it was a tag team match. Shinsuke and him versus Robert Roode and another NXT superstar who I'm completely blanking on.
It's kind of random, but
I mean, it was the NXT, guys. So Samoa Joe. I'm sorry.
Not a bad match.
Not a bad way to end a career, I guess. When you talk about NXT, especially with the NXT connection. He stated that he is back in the office. He is still in recovery, so he's still dealing with that.
Yeah, I thought I heard a number or something. I'm not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I thought I heard he was like 50% recovered or something. Maybe is that wrong?
I don't.
Or like he's not fully recovered. I think if anything, maybe I heard that number from somewhere else, but he's not 100%.
He's not. He's still in recovery. He said moving forward, his plan is still what it's really always been, and that's finding the future. So whether it's it's not necessarily running NXT quote unquote anymore, it's still finding the future. He mentioned Gable Steveson, and other names like that. So he's still developing talent, just maybe in a different way, not exactly running NXT like he was before, but maybe delegating that kind of stuff. He did post this on Twitter 2 days ago from this recording. There will come a time when you believe everything is finished, that will be the beginning. That was from Louis L. L'Amour. I am truly humbled by the text, calls, posts, and all the kind words. I'm grateful to each and every one of you. I wish I could respond to each of you, but I typed so slow I'd never leave the house again. Please know how much they all mean to me. Stay healthy, be grateful for all you have, and seize the day. I know I am. So very grateful, Triple H. Good to hear he's doing a little bit better there. So shame, but yeah, here he is right there. New GameStop exclusive, right there.
I think too, like for me, you mentioned how he's going to be important in finding the future talent and whatnot. And we'll talk about Gable Steveson here in a little bit, I'm sure. But yeah, we'll just it's kind of been a rough couple months for Triple H. Just again with Scott Hall passing away, with his own health issues and stuff like that, and just a lot of different changes going on at NXT and whatnot. But again, glad to hear that he's back in the office and kind of staying involved. I think the first public appearance I was aware of, or whether it was public appearance, whatever you want to call it, but I think if you remember, I think they were checking out the new site for an office. Remember something? I think I remember you mentioned that on the show not too long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't technically a public appearance, but yeah,
right.
For that. Quickly, before we have to go to break, any favorite Triple H matches since his in-ring career is over? Maybe mention a couple.
Yeah. Go ahead. What about you?
The end of the era match between him and Undertaker. With Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee kind of sticks out in my head. His last WrestleMania match was against Batista, that was Batista's last match. So, I mean, that's another way to go out. You know, his last two big high-profile matches were against two of his proteges. So, kind of a way to go out there.
Yeah, I think well, excuse me, sorry. For me, I think, and I think I mentioned it before, but I think that Rock Triple H SummerSlam 99 ladder match, I think for me, always kind of stands out. I think there was also the WrestleMania where DX joined together to reunited to start the day, to start the show. And I think by the end of the show, he had turned his back on him and join the corporation or something along those lines. Those moments stick out, obviously. Driving a tank over to WCW, stuff like that was, or not a tank. Was it
It was a Jeep. They say it was.
It was like a Jeep, right?
Jeep with the...
Yeah, but I mean, there's just so many moments with Triple H. I mean, you think about his days as Hunter Hearst Helmsley and just going one-on-one with guys like Goldust back in the day. But yeah, I think obviously, you hear news like this kind of stuff and it puts things in perspective, and you realize how successful a guy's career was, and obviously he's up there for one of the guys with the most title reigns. So pretty impressive run for him, and I'm sure we'll maybe see him get a solo kind of spot in the Hall of Fame here sometime soon.
Rob mentioning in the chat, 2-man power trip. That's right, with Austin there. We'll talk about Austin in a little bit, as well as Evolution. Evolution, I think, is definitely a highlight. I mean, that 2-year run. Obviously creating the future with Randy and Batista. Even back then, kind of making stars.
Yeah. And that's when a lot of people would always say Triple H never put anyone over. Triple H only ever got himself over. But, I mean, he brought guys like that along. You see what he's doing with NXT, or what he was doing with NXT and stuff like that. Like, he's doing a lot. He's doing a lot, for the business. And a lot of people can say a lot of different things. But he's been a big contributor in a positive way going forward.
Absolutely. And again, revived Ric Flair's career for, another
Ric Flair, that's an episode in itself.
That's that's the only time we'll mention Flair on this episode. He's got so much stuff to talk about Ric Flair, but we won't.
Oh boy!
Today. When we return, we're talking WrestleMania Raw. Some big things happening, including talking about our tribal chief Roman Reigns.
Your tribal chief,
the Revolutionary. Seth Rollins, did he get a WrestleMania match finally? Is he gonna have one?
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about that and much more when we return on episode 188 of WrestleMania Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 188 of WrestleMania Beyond the Ropes. I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. We're talking about WrestleMania week. It's a big week. It's become so big, WWE has decided to put WrestleMania in front of everything. James, comments?
It's WrestleMania week, but some could say that WrestleMania week started last weekend, I guess you can say. Is it a work? Or is it real? Will Smith versus Chris Rock. You have any thoughts on that? What a lot of people think should be a WrestleMania match at this point.
Yeah, I've seen the photos.
They've had the photos, the lineup, or the tape and everything, right?
They got Denzel refereeing in that too. They got Jada in the shark cage. In that. Look, I don't know. I found it as a joke. If you see my Twitter,
So the first time you watched it,
you
thought it was real, or no?
Oh,
was it a swerve, bro?
Was it a work? I thought it was at first, and then quickly I said no. But I don't know. Eric Bischoff still thinks it's a work. I've seen his post.
I think Eric and who did he have on his show? And Jeff Jarrett, I think, both said it was a work.
Because there's the image that he posted of after the slap, you kind of see Will Smith kind of smiling on his way back, and then you kind of see also Chris Rock smiling. I'll send the picture, but
well, so real quick, and we're not gonna spend too much time on this, but maybe we'll. I don't know. The thing for me, and why I thought it was a work at first, and I still don't know what to believe, is he was smiling as Chris Rock was telling these jokes, and Jada was.
He laughed. He laughed
And
at the
Jada
joke.
was a little upset, and
Yeah,
all of a
she
sudden
did.
the camera pans to Chris Rock, and he starts saying "uh-oh," and then Will Smith's coming up there, and you know, I mean, he hits him.
The
There's
issue
2 points. Go ahead. And I got 2 points.
quickly. If this is a work, first off, it's kind of sad that the Oscars had to do this for the.
Because supposedly numbers have been down in recent years.
So it's kind of sad, but it also took away from all the award winners. I don't know anyone who won any award. I didn't watch the Oscars.
That's right. Would you have watched or cared about the Oscars anyways?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, there you go. Okay, 2 points though. 2 points.
But
I forgot the first one. Anyways, but well, actually, I do. Okay, no. Well, the ratings were 1, and you know what it can do. Actually, here are my 2 points. 1, Will Smith won Best Actor by the end of the night.
Yeah.
So, say what you will about that. Not saying he didn't deserve it, but it's acting. Anyways, and then on top of that, there was no sound on the hit. You know what I mean? Because if Bianca Belair is swinging her hair at you, you're hearing it. If
they had bad audio in the American version, I think, of it. Like you have to listen to the Japanese or the Australian version.
I heard some of the Japanese, but I wasn't listening to the sound. But the thing is I mean, there should have been a smack or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, I just thought we should bring it up just because everyone else, they're talking about it on sports radio and everywhere else. And, you know, I guess there's no better way to turn up the heat a little bit on a WrestleMania week than some drama.
Did Will Smith slap his thigh?
Well, I don't think he slapped his thigh. To be fair, it was definitely very WWE-ish because he had his back to the hard cam. You don't know if he connects on it really because of the way it's positioned. I mean, there were some different photographs.
There was a picture. I think there was,
but there's not anything that finally shows that is definite and says that he did lay a hand on him. There's no mark. There's no nothing.
Chris Rock pat him his chin. He did lean forward. He pat him the chin.
He did, but I mean,
I don't know. He's
not on stage expecting it. I don't know.
Anyways, let's talk about the revolutionary. Let's talk about the real noisemaker this past week. Seth Rollins. He went to WWE headquarters because he was invited by Vince McMahon.
Okay.
Seth Rollins, great on Twitter.
Yep.
Ended up changing his profile picture to Vince McMahon.
Oh, I didn't see that.
He got a text message stating, "Seth, I want you in my office at 9 a.m. Monday."
Oop.
And Seth's reply was, "Ha ha ha, okay." So he shows up at 6:57 in the morning. Apparently, someone's already there. They have a receptionist. Seth was there until 9:05 a.m. I don't know why he got there so early. How dare he make Seth?
Yeah, he got his time zones mixed up.
I don't know how Vince, if Vince wasn't there or whatever, either Vince was there really early or he wasn't there, but we never saw Vince get in their office. So, anyways, he gets in there. He's doodling on a notepad with a pencil, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. Seth is trying to get his attention. Like, what am I going to be fired? Am I going to be suspended? Fined? What is it? Vince said, "No, you're not gonna. That's going to happen. If you wanted a WrestleMania match, I don't know why you jumped so many hoops. You could have just asked me." And kind of defeats the whole purpose of the last month of television, but it's all right. Poor Seth. He could have just asked Vince, but you know he's dealing with Sonya and Pierce over there. But he stated, "You got your match." He said, "I can't have the most stupendous two-night WrestleMania in history and not have Seth freaking Rollins." So Seth Rollins got his match, and then he asked who, and Vince said, "It's going to be an opponent of my choosing. You will find out when you're in the middle of the ring." WrestleMania, and Seth was like, "Great," and then he starts dancing, gets on the table. It's great television. He was tweeting all night for Monday Night Raw. He was very ecstatic about the whole situation. So we're getting Seth freaking Rollins this Saturday, or it already happened. If but it happened WrestleMania Saturday against an opponent of Vince McMahon's choosing.
So who do you think it is? I've heard some names thrown out there. Who do
I
you
heard
think
Shane McMahon.
There's been some Shane McMahon buzz, and he was trending, and I'm like, why is Shane trending? And then I'm like,
apparently he's gonna be at WrestleMania weekend. Apparently,
well,
so
of course, I'm not surprised by that.
no, but his name just. I was looking at my feed earlier, as I mentioned. I'm like, why is Shane McMahon trending?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he's gonna be there for some reason. I don't know what.
I mean, is he probably some sort of backup? I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. No.
I mean, having him around just to be in the back pocket, just in case something happened, sure.
Yeah, I mean, he could just be there as a guest. He could be at Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech.
That's probably all true. It's probably all part of it.
Probably what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? He might have a surprise or something. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But Seth freaking Rollins gets his WrestleMania match. It's Cody Rhodes, right?
You would think so, but some people are saying that it is Gable Stevenson. That it could be Gable Stevenson. Not saying it is, but it could be. And this coming off about a week, it was earlier this week or last week that he was named NCAA Wrestler of the Year. I believe he won the Danny Hodge Award, the first heavyweight to win it twice, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, Danny Hodge, a name that is a throwback name that has some notoriety to it in the professional wrestling industry as well. But he was obviously involved in college Olympic wrestling and whatnot too. But yeah, so Gable Stevenson, his name's being thrown out there. Obviously, as I think I mentioned on last show, he put his wrestling shoes in the middle of the ring and kind of retired from amateur wrestling. And obviously, I think he's a Raw draft pick from however many months ago it seems like now. He'll be, he's in WWE. There's no doubt about that. He has a contract with them. So it has to be a possibility. And there's no reason why he wouldn't be at WrestleMania. Why would he not? I mean, he was at last year's WrestleMania, wasn't he? Or was that SummerSlam?
He was at SummerSlam, I think. It was SummerSlam. I don't know if he was at Mania. Maybe.
I'm gonna say he probably was. But anyways, there's no reason why he won't be this year, I would think.
He could definitely be there. I just think anything other than Cody at this point would be a disappointment.
Of course. There's no doubt about that.
That's the problem. So they would. I don't know if they would want to risk putting him out there with the loud. He'd probably get booed out of the stadium. Both. Stevenson and McMahon.
But I think. Yeah, because here's why it can be Gable Stevenson, just because one, he just finished his college season and he's just finishing that kind of stuff. What time has he had to prepare for WrestleMania? Yeah, it's with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins can get a 5-star match even without the Tokyo Dome with a broomstick if he really wanted to. So, I mean, yeah, you could put Gable Stevenson in there. I'm sure they could still have a good match, but I just think that, yeah, maybe I don't think they do that. I mean, it's possible, sure, but yeah, I think it has to be Cody Rhodes here.
Yeah. Speaking of Seth Rollins, before we move on, today, as of this recording, it is the 7-year anniversary of the heist of the century, where Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania 31 against Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and he won the WWE Championship there. I was there for that experience, best experience I've had in watching wrestling. So, really, really cool moments. So, just thought I'd mention it since it is an anniversary here. Let's talk about Seth Rollins' partner, Becky Lynch. Rudely attacked.
I don't think so.
Rudely disrespected.
I don't think so.
By Bianca Belair. Who did she think she is? Putting her hands on the Raw Women's Champion and cutting her hair. Did you see that?
You want to know who she thinks she is? She's the EST of the WWE. The bestest, the greatest, the fastest, the strongest. Bianca Belair.
The
who?
The rudest. The meanest.
Maybe.
That's just terrible.
And
Becky's totally retaining that title.
I don't think so. You know what she's not retaining? any of her hair. She got a cut, snip. Who brought the scissors in the ring?
I think those are extensions, anyways. But
Who brought the scissors in the ring?
I don't know. It was dark when she came in the ring. Okay, so we don't know if Bianca actually had them in her pants. Maybe she stuck them out, and then
Why
Becky
would she have them in her
dominated.
pants?
Maybe she's hiding them. I don't know. She
Who
wanted
keeps
to
scissors?
convince them.
Who keeps scissors in their pants? Do you keep scissors in your pants?
It was in a bag, so
Do-
she put the bag in her
Do
pants.
you keep scissors in your pants?
I don't, but I'm not an evil master.
Have you ever? Have you ever?
I can't. I
That's the
don't know. I
question.
can't say that for sure, but I
Okay.
don't think I have.
I appreciate your honesty. That's all I asked for. But yes, I would kind of going with Rob was saying. The first thing that came to mind for me was who led Bianca, the beefcake, Barber.
Someone said Brutus should accompany Becky Lynch to the ring or something. I think it was Mick Foley or something. I don't know. He likes to say this
Jesus,
kind of
no,
stuff.
please no.
I know it's ridiculous.
Hey, no, God.
Are
And
they
then people
doing
gonna
hair
want a
versus
Brutus
hair?
the beefcake run.
Are they going to do a hair versus hair stipulation or something? Or
That's what I was thinking when
they
I
keep
saw this
mentioning the
clip.
hair. They keep
But
doing
there's
the hair
no-
thing.
There's no way they do that. I mean, one, Bianca's not cutting that. And I could see maybe where the Becky would maybe want to do a haircut, but I don't think she wants to do a
Maybe for the
haircut.
next one. Maybe she does. I mean, it's probably extensions, honestly. A lot of that hair
Maybe,
follows
but
her.
I mean, it's too late. I mean,
Maybe
we're
for
gonna
the
throw that
next one.
stipulation on last minute.
Maybe for a rematch. I don't know.
But it got a lot of people going. I think it maybe showed a little different side, maybe to some people for Bianca Belair doing what she did. So I think a lot of people are excited about that match. I think a lot of people at this point want to see that as the main event for WrestleMania. Whether I'm assuming night one, just because of what's on the card for the world for the championship match. Go ahead.
We have the card for both nights. We'll talk about it after the break. But I don't think either women's title matches are gonna actually main event the show.
Why? Wait, what?
Rumored that at least our favorite journalist Dave Meltzer stated that it's likely that the Kevin Owens show with Steve Austin is gonna
The
actually
main event.
close out night one of that show, which makes me believe that they might have bigger plans for that.
Oh, I think they totally do. They're just not.
They're just not saying anything. Which
I mean, well, yeah, because the last Kevin Owens said, "Oh, let's have a beer, let's have a toast or whatever," and you can pass the torch to me and say,
yeah, there you
I
go.
have the better stunner or whatever, and that's cool. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how you close out night one.
It's either that or I think at this point the Cody and Seth.
I mean, it could go either way. There's so many different ways direction they can go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Austin match could start off the show for all we know.
I think we see probably Belair and Lynch start off the show.
Belair, Lynch.
I think that's probably
maybe.
more.
I mean, I'm not against that either. I'm not mad at it.
Let's talk about really quick someone who started off the show last year. He was the WWE champion this year. He came back this past week at WrestleMania Raw and challenged the one Omos, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
Challenging Omos. Is this Omos's first loss? Is he getting a big push and dominating Lashley? I don't know. But what do you think about this match?
We're just real quick. I mean, one, I think because it's so quickly thrown together, I think maybe there's some pre-show potential here. But with that said, I mean, I guess I don't know if that's the first time Omos has ever got knocked to his feet. They made it out to be that way.
I think
And if there's anyone who can do that, Bobby Lashley would be that guy. So I think, you don't need a huge build up for it, but I think it's nice that you get a guy like Bobby Lashley on the card, considering some of the run he's had over the last couple months. So good to have him on there. Let's see what they do with Omos here.
it is what it is.
It's not Omos, it's almost right. Yeah. So we'll see. I'm getting him confused, but we'll see what happens. You can't get Omos and almost confused because that's two different styles, and the expectation for matches could range very drastically depending on how you say the name. But yeah, I think I think it'll be a good match. Something they threw together quickly, and just if you're gonna try and do something with the big guy, you do something with him, and you have a guy like Bobby for that.
When we return, we're going to talk about a match that has not been announced as of this recording, and a match that's probably not even going to happen because they're involved in a different match, and we're going to have a little rant about that when we return. right here on the WrestleMania edition of Beyond the Ropes. We are 22us Radio. 22us Radio is 22usmedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HC3 Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 188 of WrestleMania Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. You can also find us on YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes there, and on Twitter at RealBTR Radio. I'll be tweeting, or if you're watching this after WrestleMania weekend, you would have seen all those tweets, as well as our predictions there. You can also find us on Anchor. Search up Beyond the Ropes, and you'll listen to our beautiful voices there. We're talking about, the last thing we talked about was the match that was just made this past Monday at WrestleMania Raw. And something we're not going to be able to talk about unless this match gets made at the very last second is Finn Balor and the United States Championship not being defended against one Damian Priest. Why is this not happening at WrestleMania?
I don't know, but I always thought the build-up made it sound like it was going to be. The way they were going to, just the Priest had the title. It looked like they were doing something with them. He makes a challenge for someone who's a top-level guy, someone that was a world champion, and calls that, Finn Balor comes out, answers that call, wins the belt from him. You think there's supposed to be some sort of comeuppance or Demon versus Priest match?
Demon versus Priest is right there. I think everyone was waiting for that, and they weren't even on Raw this past Monday. They have both been scheduled for the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal happening at WrestleMania SmackDown.
So, real quick, both of these guys are Raw guys, correct?
Correct.
So if there was any sort of last-minute match, maybe that they were going to try and throw together or make out of something, it would have been on Raw, but
unless something happens in the Battle Royal.
Maybe they're the final two in the Rumble.
In the Battle Royal, maybe they say, okay, maybe Priest throws out Balor, maybe he earned a title match at WrestleMania. They could do that. That's fine. Just get him on the card. Why can't
you would think? I mean, you would think that they would, but so here's the other thing, though. So now I don't know how many years in a row it was. You had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on WrestleMania. That was the whole reason why you had the Battle Royal. Was to have it on WrestleMania to get everyone on there and get that paycheck. Now I guess that's not the case anymore. But again, you have 2 nights and you're doing this on Peacock and there's really no limit, I would think. And
supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly Peacock's limit is like 4 hours for a live event. I don't know how true that is. Nonetheless, you could still.
But when it's drawing the eyeballs like this,
I don't know. You would think they would have enough time for all these matches.
You would just think if you're gonna have a battle royal, like how do you have a show now become 2 nights, but you still can't get a battle royal on there?
You're doing a whole week now of WrestleMania worthy events, apparently, with WrestleMania Raw and now SmackDown. Might as well call NXT WrestleMania NXT at this point. By the way, they have Stand and Deliver. Say it with me, James. Premium
live event.
And then, of course, you've got our favorite. Say it with me, James.
LA
Night. I actually don't know if he has a match.
Just put him in the Rumble. Why not?
I want to say he's facing
the Royal Battle Royal. Who knows? I don't know anymore.
Anyways, getting back to the Balor Priest thing. So, not happy that it's not been announced. The Intercontinental Championship, by the way, also not being defended at WrestleMania.
Oh no, he got pinned 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring by Austin Theory.
Like 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And then he's defending that title in a triple threat match against a tag team of Angel and
Angel Garza and who? And
Humberto.
Oh Boy with the Rose. Yeah.
Humberto, and that's happening at WrestleMania SmackDown. That's his WrestleMania moment there. So kind of kickoff show. Can you at least put it on the kickoff show? There's not even a kickoff show anymore, I don't think.
Well, I would think so. The thing is like right now, it's kind of interesting because now they have they've cut a whole lot of people on the roster, right? So now it's like you would think more so than anything that you should be able to get everyone on the pay-per-view or the premium live event at this point, but
we have 3 celebrity matches, which
and that's overkill. That's way too many.
I'm not gonna lie. I think they've done a decent job with with these build-ups for them, considering they're celebrity matches.
Yeah,
I'm
but
intrigued with the Sami Zayn Knoxville one. I think McAfee, I mean, it's shown in NXT he can pull off a match, And the Logan Paul, I don't really care for that one, but
let's be honest. If the Austin Theory thing, if he wasn't tied to Vince McMahon,
it probably
that
wouldn't be
match
as big of a deal.
that match could have just been thrown into. You could have just had McAfee be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah.
You could have put Johnny Knoxville if he wasn't ready in the Royal Rumble. You could have just put him in the Battle Royal, and between those one or both of those matches, you would have had enough time to put that on the actual show for WrestleMania, that Battle Royal. And I don't know. I think the Logan Paul thing.
That one, yeah, I mean, yeah, that one kind of makes the most sense because
he's like he's the one that's boxing, right? He's not the other brother, because I get him confused. But either way,
they both box. They
both box or whatever. So just the name itself, to me, I think they're like one of the hottest things in pay-per-views, right? So
yeah, they're draws. They're actually making
So I get why you have them on there, but I just there's too many celebrity matches on there.
Give me, especially for a 2-night event, you can't. You're not putting your U.S. title or Intercontinental title in them. Like the Battle Royal, like I understand that it's Battle Royal, but
because for me, it's kind of like what's going to be around. Maybe that's the case why it's working this way. What's going to be around longer, the celebrities or your U.S. title, your Intercontinental title? I mean, those titles have been around forever, but the legacy of those titles, I would think, there's not. I mean, heck, make one of those a ladder match. I mean, maybe you can't do ladder matches now because of the way the arenas are now, and I don't know.
I think a lot of people were saying, a Razor Ramon Memorial.
That's what I'm saying. Like
why can't they do that? Just put a bunch of guys together. It doesn't matter. You don't need to build a ladder match.
Do a Punjabi prison match for the Intercontinental title. Why not?
Like, do a Samoan strap match for the U.S. title.
Something. Just do a sumo match for it.
Oh, we don't need another sumo match at Mania. We've seen the Big Show one.
I mean, why not? I mean, anything. Just make it. I don't know if a sumo match makes the Intercontinental title meaningful or adds any prestige to it, but just do something. I just feel like there's an opportunity to do stuff that's not. It's not being done. I don't know.
We're putting Kofi and Woods against Sheamus and Ridge. Not an exciting match. Honestly.
See, these matches to me are just so random.
Butch should have been in that match, not Ridge. But anyways, it's random matches. You see,
they're just random
matches. These are they really.
But I'm saying all these guys got to be in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I know you want to get Kofi and Woods on there, maybe, but just put them in the Battle Royal. Like
put it on a card, make it a big deal. Have someone
put it on a card. Yes.
Make it for a title. I mean, if you want to even put one of the titles on the line in that match, do that at least. So at least the title is on the line. And
you already got what? It's a 3-team tag match or whatever. Randall Keith Orton, Riddle.
That one, and then they got the women's one, which is a 4-team tag match. So
it's kind of all over the place. I don't know.
It's a messy card.
It is a little bit of a messy card. Yep.
Card. I really hope they get their act together for next year's Mania because it'll be in LA. There's going to be at least one celebrity match.
The thing I'm afraid of is that it could be more than one celebrity.
I hope it's just one. I hope they do it one time.
It's going to be. I don't know who it's going to be. I mean, if it's LA, I think Bad Bunny will be on it next year.
Depends if he's busy or not. He's a busy guy. So.
I mean, maybe, but
I just hope they get it out of the system this year. See what's right. See what's wrong. Maybe we get it back to. It's because it's going to be 2 nights.
Well, yeah.
Apparently, the city of Fort Worth or Dallas is going to make $200 million.
Oh well, yeah, they're going to make money.
So. They're not going to cut back. They're not going back to one-night WrestleManias.
No, of course not. The thing for me is, we talk about celebrity matches, and the Bad Bunny match. Oh wow, that was better than expected.
It was an entertaining match, yeah.
Bad Bunny, held his own, did well. I was more than okay with that match being on there. You have 3 celebrity matches. Do you think all of them are going to be wow, great, impressive matches? 1 or 2 of them got to be bad. I feel like you're reaching for For sure. I don't know. I mean, sure, maybe. I don't think so. I just don't think all those matches can be great. Austin Theory and Pat McAfee, cool.
McAfee's
But
athlete. It
yeah, I mean, I love, the different things on his radio show and all that, but I'm just like, is there anything there with him and Austin Theory that says yes? To me, it's kind of almost a pre-show match.
He didn't need to be in. He's a commentator. He didn't need.
He really didn't need to be in it. And what was there about? What was the need other than I think maybe if wasn't he off like a week or two? I think he was like on vacation or something. Maybe I think I don't know if his I don't know if his contract was up or something, or I don't know necessarily. I don't know if that was just part of the deal or what. But for me, it's just like, why a WrestleMania match now all of a sudden? Why
maybe
Theory?
he did ask for a Mania match or something. I don't know. Get it out of the system.
I guess
back to being in the ring again. I don't know. The Knoxville situation is a little odd because they already did the promotion for the movie.
Yeah, the build should have been it.
To be fair, the movie is now on Paramount Plus. That just came out recently, so they could be trying to push the views there. I know I'm interested. I do want to watch it, but that's the reason probably.
You said it's on Paramount Plus?
It's on Paramount Plus now, so.
Then actually, that's more of a reason why because it's not like it's even on Peacock.
It's still promotion for the movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have to do these deals with.
I mean, I'm not.
I don't know what Paul is promoting. I don't know why maybe he just wants a match.
It's just pay-per-view. It's just being out there. It's just, if anything, WWE wants that, that pay-per-view number.
Yeah, they want that.
And if people are willing to pay for a pay-per-view to watch, premium live event.
By the way, sorry.
You're fine.
It's gonna be in movie theaters. WrestleMania is in movie theaters.
Okay.
20-something bucks each night. Rob, are you going to that? I know you've gone to a couple of the AEW theater shows. Rob, are you going to WrestleMania?
No. Type in the chat. No, like the anonymous GM or something. No.
You want to sign up for Peacock? It's $5. $5.
Yeah, you at least gotta sign up for Peacock. Peacock, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Speaking of Peacock, real quick, not to get us too distracted. I've been watching Peacock. I've been watching some episodes of WWE Evil on there, and
I need to watch that.
It's been pretty good. Someone, my good friend Tracy McDonald, I believe, on Twitter. He's, I'm familiar with him. He's a sports journalist, but I said I was watching WWE's Evil series. I started watching that, and obviously each episode they're highlighting a group or an individual that has had a good run during their career of being heel, and the things that go about it, their origin story more or less. And as he kind of pointed out, and I kind of agreed with him because I kind of seen some of the lineup too, and it's like, I don't know why some of these people are being featured that much. One, I just finished Kane and The Undertaker. I think I finished it. Yeah, I think I finished it. Anyways, and their story, they had both of them together. They could have each been individuals. Obviously their careers are tied together, so it makes sense. But you had did they even get to Vince yet? They had Sasha
and Miz.
They had Miz, which I was kind of like, why are we doing the Miz? But it was actually pretty good. I learned some stuff from it. So I was okay with that one. I think there might be another one or two where I'm kind of like,
but they did Randy, which
I heard the Randy Orton one is great.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that one.
Sasha, that was
a Sasha
one. Yeah, they did a Sasha one.
I saw the Sasha one, and it was good, but it wasn't anything I hadn't heard already on the Austin on the thing she did with Austin, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, she's made for a great heel, but hasn't done a lot for me, just in terms of like, greatest heel ever. I don't know.
So. I'll look into that. I have been interested in that. I know. But anyways, let's wrap up here. We got a few minutes here.
Always wrap it up.
Yeah, always. Let's talk about the WrestleMania card. So this comes from the WWE website. The stupendous 2-night WrestleMania streams live on Saturday, April 2nd and Sunday, April 3rd. If you're watching, if this goes up before WrestleMania, here you go. At 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Peacock in the U.S. and WWE Network everywhere else. In addition, get expert analysis with WrestleMania kickoff Saturday and Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 p.m. So they are going to do a 2-hour kickoff. So they might put Balor in that kickoff.
Something.
They like to put those kickoff matches, like they like to announce them the day of. So
Well, yeah, honestly, because each match is going to be 45 minutes.
of course. All right, WrestleMania Saturday so far. They did put WrestleMania Saturday so far.
Okay,
So
interesting.
hopefully it's good news for some of those wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown Women's Championship match. Charlotte Flair defends against Ronda Rousey.
Okay.
Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch, the champion, defends against Bianca Belair. I think we're all looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
The KO show featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin to confront Kevin Owens.
Okay. The night one's already seemed jam packed. I don't know how they're going to make this card work.
Pretty packed. Edge versus AJ Styles.
This is all night one?
Yeah. All right. I feel like
Wow.
Ray and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul.
That's probably the second match on the card for the night.
Seth Rollins to face an opponent of Mr. McMahon's choosing.
Not on Saturday too.
It's WrestleMania Saturday. They did.
Actually, what's left for Sunday at this point?
We'll get to that. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. All right, you gotta get a little lower.
There's a little buffer. Okay.
SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. The Usos defend against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Okay.
Against who?
Rick Boogs and Nakamura.
Yeah. Who are they against? Who?
The Usos.
Oh, okay.
SmackDown Tag Team title match.
Mm-hmm.
And then King Woods and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. So another lower.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you got some buffers in there, but I mean, dang, what? I don't know what matches are left for the next night.
WrestleMania Sunday so far. WWE Champion versus Universal Champion. Winner take all championship unification match. That is a long title. WWE Champion Brock Lesnar versus Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn.
Buffer.
I'm intrigued. I'm probably more intrigued for this match than most of these matches, honestly.
Really?
Raw. I'm just intrigued what they're gonna do because it is.
No, I mean I get you, but
it is anything goes. At least that's what it was last week. Raw Tag Team Title match: RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Rockville Academy. That should be a really fun match.
Mhm.
Women's Tag Team Championship match: Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley versus Omos. So Sunday's looking a little rough.
it is looking a little rough. They need to change some of that. You can't have Charlotte, Ronda, Becky, Belair on the same night. Like, what order is that going? Especially when you have Edge and AJ and you have the Stone Cold KO thing. The Edge and
Seth Rollins versus.
Yeah, exactly. One of those needs to go. Two of those matches alone they'll need to be on Sunday.
They were heavily relying on that Brock Roman match for Sunday.
I guess. I mean, but even then, how are those two going to go 2 hours?
That's going to be the shortest match of the night, honestly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, next week we're going to talk about WrestleMania. We're probably going to discuss it. We've been talking about it for weeks.
We're gonna talk about it. We'll talk all about it. Real quick, shout out to Buff Bagwell. Also, shout out to the Steiner brothers. Also, shout out to Shad Gaspar. Going to the Hall of Fame.
Warrior Award.
Getting the Warrior Award. Just want to get those names out there. And yeah.
Until next time, it's been a WrestleMania edition of like the third WrestleMania edition of like the month. Beyond the Ropes. Until next time, it has been absolutely too sweet.
Too sweet, boys.